Welcome to the channel, Gaming Army. Most pilots in MechWarrior Online, especially new or newer pilots, are in an all-fired hurry to get out of the drop zone and charge the enemy full speed as soon as possible. Their drops tend to look a lot like this. Charging into overwhelming enemy forces, pushing bad positions, generally very spastic, chaotic affair, usually ending in early death, suboptimal performance, and tons of missed opportunities. In this video, we'll be highlighting some of the advantages that can be had with a slower paced drop style. Now, for both drops today, we're going to be in our Arctic Cheetah. It's an E variant outfitted with 2 heavy large lasers, ECM for protection, jump jets, and a top speed of 129.6 kph. Our first drop has us playing Assault Mode on HPG Manifold. The mech that I'm piloting and where I've elected to put myself on the board are both contributing to this slower paced game style. So I've started out more as a spotter, being a little more passive with my approach to the game, just because I can't afford to get myself focused this early on and this far away from support of my teammates. Having completed our scouting and spotting responsibilities, we're now going to switch into a more active combat role, and that's why we're picking on this Marauder. He is tail end Charlie, which means if I shoot him or take him off the board, it probably will be less noticeable to his teammates. Secondly, he's already damaged. That right torso is open, and that's where the rack system is, which we've now removed from the game. He's open left torso, which means if I can focus my damage on that left torso, I can take out his mech. Now, I do have to battle through the heat. That's a real thing. And coming at him, I want to slow the pace down and go at him with purpose. And that's why I'm not alpha striking. I'm staggering my shots, and I'm purposely trying to focus that right torso. Remember, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And with a little bit of time invested, we managed to finish him off, taking that left torso as planned. Unfortunately, I'm getting pushed by one of his teammates, and that Timberwolf is very dangerous. So I hit my jump jets. I'm a little over enthusiastic, and my fat fingers do not release my UAV as intended at the apex of my jump. I was trying to do that because having it up as high as possible puts it at an odd angle for units that are stuck below your UAV. Just a little side tip for you on that one. With my UAV in place and a little bit of cover, I've now got time to reevaluate what's going on the battlefield. We have 2 units below me stuck on that ramp area that I want to focus. The Sun Spider is heavily damaged and he's bugging out. That's okay, because the real prize here is the Blood Asp, who is not paying attention to me. Looks like they are pinned, getting heavy fire from multiple angles. And now the Blood Asp is open in the rear. We're going to get some more shots off on him because, again, he keeps looking towards the bulk of my teammates, not necessarily checking what's above and behind him. But now he knows I'm here, and he manages to light me up, and that's not fair. So I'm going to change my angle slightly and see if I can still get some damage done on him. And he's put out an arty strike, and it hurts. So I am going to bail off the wall and relocate yet again to preserve what's left of my little mech. Pushing back into the fight, I want to slow things down and be cautious coming around this corner. I know the Blood Asp, the Sun Spider, and possibly one other unit were around this corner. I don't want to quickly and blindly charge in and have my mech destroyed. Looking to the left, there's the Sun Spider. He's pulled off to the distance. We get a shot on him just as one of our teammates secures the kill on the Sun Spider. We're going to go looking for other targets, and I can't help but notice there's the Blood Asp. He's in the basement, and as I come around the corner, though, here's an enemy Vulcan. He's not aware we're here, so we'll help ourselves to his left torso. He's busy focused on a teammate of mine, and as his mech shuts down, we're going to add insult to injury, sweeping that right leg. Our teammate picks up the kill. Now, if you saw that in the left-hand screen, you'll see there's weapons fire to my left. I want to check this out and see what's being shot at. And there's an enemy Wolverine. His center torso is looking pretty weak. I'm going to take my time, line up my shot, And there we go. We punch through center torso and chalk up our second kill. That just proves the point that slowed down situational awareness on the battlefield can be invaluable. If I hadn't noticed the weapons fired to my left, I would have never looked left and continued running straight ahead to the right, thinking that my quarry was truly in the basement. Now the last last one really is in the basement, but I would have missed the opportunity to get that second kill on the Wolverine. So we end this game with 2 kills, 6 assists, 594 damage done. Moving on to our next drop, we're again playing Assault Mode, this time on the Mining Collective, and we've taken our scouting spotting responsibility seriously, and we've managed to find a King Crab. Now, many of you would have opened fire on the King Crab by now, but that isn't necessarily the right move. And by slowing things down and getting a better picture of what's happening on the battlefield, you'll see a completely different situation playing out. If I had opened fire on the King Crab, I would have been focused by multiple trailing enemy units. And one of them is the urban mech that I've spotted. Now, I did shoot him on purpose for a specific reason. I wanted him to pause and look around before going after the King Crab. Now I've created more distance between that urban mech and the King Crab, and it's a good thing I did because there's a second urban mech right beside me in the high ground there at Fox 3. So I'm going to reposition yet again. And this is important. If I had shot the King Crab, I would have found myself in a 3v1 scenario. King Crab and 2 urban mechs versus my mech. And I'm pretty sure I would not have walked away with that. Instead, we're able to realize both urban mechs are running very slowly. We can take our time, focus that first urban mech, take the big Ultra AC-20 off of him, and then I will leave him behind, let a teammate mop up the kill on that while I go hunt our second urban mech friend, who is now incredibly separated from the rest of his team, so he should be pretty easy picking at this point. If you've enjoyed the content thus far, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons to help the channel grow and to make sure that you don't miss out on any future content and tips, as well as getting a 20% C-bill bonus on your next drop. Not really. Now, getting back into the action, we have tracked down the second urban mech, and he looks like he is disconnected. Looks like I'm not the only one who's been struggling with ISP issues of late. So I feel a little dirty taking the kill, but we take it just the same. It has to be done. And now I'm going to swing back around, looking towards Echo 4, because it looks like a large enemy group is in the Echo 4 area, including a Marauder. And he is pushing towards the ramp. We'll get a couple of shots on him, possibly even some back damage. And he's got a friend up there on the ramp with him. It looks like our King Crab from very early in the game, and he is one-touch CT, so we'll take that center torso shot and remove him from the game for our second kill this drop. And there's still more enemy mechs coming, so now I can slow things down again and pick and choose my targets, as well as getting my second airstrike out on the enemy formation. I want to make sure I do some damage to that assassin. I don't want him running around the board. Well, I'd like to kill him, but at least this way he's damaged enough that my teammates should be able to finish him off. We get a nice backstrike on that Mad Cat as well. So right now I'm in a really great position, being able to get all of the shots on, when I get lit up from behind, and there is an enemy. Did not see him there. Thunderbolt is wanting to focus me, as well as some of his other teammates. I'm going to bob and weave and head for cover and put some distance between me and my pursuers. Those evasive maneuvers pay off. You see somebody shot the building next to me, and that would have been unfortunate since my back torsos are already open. Just checking my 6, make sure somebody is not in hot pursuit, and then we need to get right back into the game. Now, I don't want to be overly reckless here, and this is why it's a little more slow-paced getting back into it. I'm not sure if somebody was in hot pursuit of me or if it was just weapons fire coming out of the Echo 4 area. So checking the ramp real quick, it does not look like I was being pursued. I'm going to hit my jump jets, come back up over Echo 3, see if I can get a line on not only the enemy targets, but that right there. Did you see that? From the left-hand side, the shots coming out of Echo 4, that confirms what I kind of already knew. That Thunderbolt is still there. He just dropped down off of this high ground and is now sitting in the Echo 3 area. I'm going to leave him there for the moment. I'm going to take down the enemy UAV, and now I want to focus on the Death Strike for multiple reasons. Number one, he is being focused with missile fire, and I'm holding the locks. That's helping mask the damage that I'm doing with my large lasers. Notice he's not really looking up at me. He's looking at one of my light friends who's harassing him on the low ground as we get missile support. Now, the missiles are a little ineffective because they're being blocked by the buildings. We managed to take his right torso. Now he looks up at us, but it's too little, too late. A teammate gets the kill as I overheat myself. This is a very, very spicy build. You do have to be aware of that. And now we can turn our attention fully back to the Thunderbolt. He should be around the corner here. And that's a Fafnir, not a Thunderbolt. We'll get some shots off on this Fafnir, make sure my teammates know that he's there. There's the Thunderbolt on the other ramp heading up towards the center. I'm still dealing with the heat issues. I haven't fully cooled down since my encounter with the Death Strike, so I do have to watch what I'm doing here. Probably should have gone to chain fire. Obviously, the Alpha Strike, I'm still a little too hot for it, but I want to get as much damage on them as I can. My teammates managed to finish off both enemy units, and now it's just the hunt for the last remaining sole survivor. Earlier in the video, I mentioned how the mech choice itself dictated a slower paced drop playstyle, and hopefully you can see what I mean by now. A lot has to do with the weapons loadout I'm currently running on this mech. I have two heavy large lasers. They run hot, and the cycle rate for these weapons is very slow. That means you need to pick and choose when and where you're going to engage, what targets you're going to engage, and you can't move in and just be brawling like you're running small or medium pulse lasers. That's not this type of build, and that's going to force you to play a slower paced play style. So if you're not naturally good at this kind of play style, change out your weapons, and it will force you to play that style until it comes naturally to you as a pilot. Now we're still looking for the last enemy unit, and I'm going vertical. I'm going up on top of the towers just so that I can have overwatch. We have a disconnected assault mech below me. This has been a match for disconnects, as you can see by the beginning screen here. Our last enemy shows up, and it's an Annihilator who was disconnected earlier. Don't know exactly where he was at on the board, but he reconnected, pushed into the center. He's still very, very dangerous. He manages to chalk up 2 more kills before we finally put him down. And we finished this drop-off with 2 kills, 8 assists, 673 damage done.